Another C. Okay, let's go back and then we'll come front. So,
Hare Krishna. What if VC doesn't even inform LC and it just goes like, is there any system that the project doesn't get approved? Or
the grievance system will have to be worked out, it looks like. But generally, ISKCON's grievance procedure is generally, I mean, we can be the first responder. We can try to do that. But generally what I found that these grievances have to be settled at the divisional council level. That's where it seems to be most effectively done. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, there are two things which I found out now. One is if a corporate is giving donation in a year to ISKCON in a particular region, so he may not get interested to give again to another center, maybe for another project also, because he will see it as same. ISKCON is coming again and again. We have to give to other organizations also. This is one thing. Another thing is that if previously only the relationship between LC and VC is not good, then they will obviously, LC will say that what is meant by having a corporate relationship. I may know receptionist also. I go there, I send prasad for the general manager. What is the problem? I have relationship. So it is very difficult to prove what is called corporate relationship.
This is going to be our work in progress. We'll see how far we can go. I mean, our objective here is simple. We want to see how we can maximize our relationship with the corporate world and facilitate ISKCON's development.
But there is there's a very specific answer to this question. The term existing relationship qualifies in terms of paperwork.
Yeah, donations
Year
received.
this amount this much with this department of this company I received. That is my claim to an existing relationship. But did I receive, just taking the example of Calcutta, SBI, yes, not
CSR.
sponsorship. Even if that corporate gets a bad perception that ISKCON har baar chala aata hai, even then, because that's none of our botheration. That if a corporate feels ISKCON guys come, because I'm not going to a particular vice president, I'm going to a CSR committee because they have rolled out a CSR policy, put it up on their website saying anybody who is into this implementing agency form, please come to me. So I'm going to that. So the existing relationship LC cannot claim if there is no paperwork to claim it, and that has to be shared if any kind of clashing. That is why I'm saying when I spoke about the looking at the larger picture, then it's otherwise it's being penny wise and pound foolish. I'm very straightforward way I'm saying it, because you're just bothered about the 6 corporates that you cultivated, forgetting the other 94. There is a potential that exists.
We've defined a cultivating relationship that means that that ISKCON Center has received multiple contributions from that corporation. It doesn't have to be CSR, by the way, but they have. It's not that we go and give them prasadam every Janmashtami or something. That's not a cultivating relationship. I mean, it is, but it's not enough to say, hey, hands off. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. So we are actually from a small centers, and there actually the corporate head offices are there in Bombay or in Delhi. So we are approaching the locally their branches, and the branch head is saying that I will be sanctioning your CSR through our head office.
Yes.
So what is there? Actually, we are not approaching the head office directly, and we are not in picture. And we have developed a good relationship with the branch officer there.
Yes.
So where the VC has to go to LCR again and says that we are approaching your company.
Thank you for bringing that up, because it's not really spelled out here. let's just step back a second in terms of what is our role. In the book, you see here the Bureau resolution in this respect. There's, before everything that we just went through, there's a resolution. Now the resolution itself, let me get the page number. It's on page 32, all right? So the resolution simply gives principles. These are the principles that okay. It says, thus an opportunity for an ISK, this I'm reading from second paragraph. Many of the major corporates have activities all over India, but centralize their CSR decision making at their corporate headquarters. Thus, an opportunity for an ISKCON center to partner with a corporate for a local project may require interacting with that corporate in a different area where there is another ISKCON center. So this, first of all, in your situation, you don't require interacting with that corporate in a different area. So let's go further though. ISKCON centers in the vicinity of a corporate headquarters may not have opportunities for CSR partnerships in the specific fields of interest of that corporate, or they may not be able to fully utilize available CSR funding from a corporate in their area. Such opportunities may be suitable for another ISKCON center. Third, multiple uncoordinated approaches by different ISKCON centers to a corporate may be confusing and detrimental to ISKCON's reputation as a preferred CSR partner. So these are the three different situations, three different scenarios. One is you have a project, there is a local organization that is corporate that wants to help you, but the decision has to come from the headquarters. So there has to be some interaction with the headquarters. That's number one. Number two is that you have a project, it fits within the CSR policy of a corporate outside of your local area, both in terms of what they want to do and where they want to do it, okay? And the center, the local center where that corporate is located is not able to fully utilize or doesn't have a relationship with that center. And the third is that the third principle is that if there are different corporates that are approached in different ways, it could be confusing and detrimental to our reputation. So these are the three principles. So then based on that, these are the principles by which a mechanism has to be done. The first is that maintaining the cultivation and relationship building efforts of local centers with corporates is the first priority. So in your case, what you just described, there doesn't seem to me at least to be anything potentially detrimental to the cultivation and relationship building efforts of the local center with that corporate when the decision is being done at your level. So then local centers should not arbitrarily obstruct the CSR efforts. So that's also given here. If a non-local ISKCON center needs assistance to work out relationships, the CCC can be involved. And we have the authority to determine if a local center is being unnecessarily uncooperative by examining these different prerogatives. Of course, what we do after that, we just said that we would probably go, if we can't sort it out, we go to the divisional center. So this is what was resolved by the Bureau. The mechanism that I just presented is what we internally created in order to support those principles. And it's, I can see that this is, we didn't really cover that scenario. So it's our, how should I say, power. our job, really, to fulfill that resolution of the Bureau by doing mechanisms. So we would have to discuss this in our committee, but offhand I would say there would be no need for you as the local center to interact with the local cultivating representative, except to report to them, except to tell them what you've done. But you would not have to, if the decision is being done at the local level, like you described, if they're able to sanction it locally, and there's no need for you to travel to Delhi or Mumbai or Calcutta or wherever it is to pitch your project, then I would say, and we'll discuss it, but I would say, hey, that's fine, but report it. Let the center, they should know about it. Okay? So yes, Radhapati?
I'm just saying the scenario in which a corporate approaches you in terms of a written proof that, I am interested in funding your project. Very rare, but when this happens in a case like this, where the local plant say, I don't have the decision-making authority, but I'm interested and I find your project good, but it's the Bombay head office that will, that has to give us a go-ahead. In that scenario, you inform the local center still, but you do not seek the approval of the local center in that context. But you still keep them in the loop that from this company we are, taking this amount.
So that's, we'll how you say, amend our procedures and deal with that.
Yeah.
Kurma, he had his hand up long ago. And can you, well, just your question, then it should come up front.
So,
1 second.
even in some of the listed companies, on the website there is a clear corporate CSR policies,
Oh, yes.
and one can refer to figure it out the objective
Yes.
of some of the project. That's what I have gone through. And one of the practical example, when Mira Road, ISKCON Mira Road, which is the western suburbs of Bombay, outside Bombay, they started last year the school project with 20 students in the first batch. So I was trying to, figure it out, and I able to approach informally one of the friend in Jindal Steel, which has I think Boisar or Tarapur plant. And they told me very clearly that we are already funding the midday meal scheme of the other ISKCON. So we will not be able to cater to right now. So this is just an example, of what can have a multiple kind of.
Yes. And in that, this is a good example of also how, perhaps that worked out fine, but just imagine if, 3 or 4 different people came all to the same place and they had to give the same response, and then they say, what is this ISKCON? They don't know what they're doing?
That's precisely the
They don't know that we're already funding. What is this organization? So this is what we want to prevent by having a mechanism that before, Mumbai is is a special case, but this is the type of thing we want to try to prevent. Kurma. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So this is what we want to prevent. Yes.
Prabhuji, there are also no territory zone, which is like there is no ISKCON center as such.
Yes. Yes.
So is those zones open for all? Because there will be no LC.
Ah, good question. Good question. Well, my gut response would be CCC. that we would assume that role, so that at least we can be, not that we would be, we'd be a gatekeeper of sorts, so that we can try to minimize, multiple interactions and so on. So there could be, but I know there are some areas of the country where there's no near temple. There's no in this whole state. There's maybe nothing. So there are, but I believe there's divisional councils. We'll work out something that but the immediate response would be that the CCC would be the one to take a call.
The second thing is, let's say they have some center but there is no established center as such. There is no temple, or
Yes.
people just go from one center to that particular place for preaching,
Yes.
and the temple is in vicinity to that particular place. So who will have the authority in terms of who will be LC? A person who is going from, let's say, in our case, Vallabhadinagar to Bharuch for
Yes.
preaching, and we are in more vicinity to Bharuch, and Bharuch doesn't have any center. I'm just giving a hypothetical. There is some center in Bharuch, but I'm just saying a hypothetical situation. Then, who is going to be LC in that case? And yeah,
Well, the local center is the local center, but whether or not there's a local cultivation relationship is another story. So we, it just seems very practical and sensible that if we have a local center, if we have some ISKCON presence in that locality, then someone in that locality should be kept aware and abreast and informed about what's going on. That's our principle. Now, that person can't stop or obstruct the fundraising, CSR fundraising from another area without good cause, but at least they need to know about it. They need to have, some, now some of these centers are actually extension centers. They're not actually full-fledged ISKCON centers.
that's exactly what.
So when they're extension centers, then I assume that there's also an extension in terms of a official ISKCON president or something that they have relationships. So that could be that when you're dealing with an extension center, that the ultimate LC is the center that they are extension of. Yes, Namanishta.
Suppose I want to come to Mumbai. Now there are in Mumbai 3 centers, which I say is LC.
Yes, Mumbai is and Delhi has got 13. So this is one of our challenges, is that which we're trying to work out. It was mentioned in the first part of this that we are going to be asking all of the centers to give us their the details. We just need to know the company that they have relationships with, and whether this is the name of the company and this is the existing relationship, whether it's they give donations or we have a CSR relationship, one or the other, or we have a planned one. So very simple. So we'll be sending out a questionnaire, and we're going to be asking all the centers to give that information. Then it'll be easy. Then the visiting center can contact us, and we can let them know this is the person who has a relationship with that company. Let's give you, see, this is the scenario. Not, I want to go to Mumbai. No. First step, I have a project. That's the first step. Not I'm just going to go and talk to people. I have a project. Project is approved. It's got a budget. Okay. Next step. I, either on my own or with the help of the CCC, I've identified companies in Mumbai that have in their CSR policy the support of a project like mine, either because it fits their geographical interest or in some other way. So I've identified this company. They have shown an interest in this type of project. There's a good scope for some possibility for presenting it. All right. Now I have to find out, is this company already have a relationship with a local center? So how am I going to do that? All right. Well, I can do it in one of 2 ways. I can go to the CCC, and if everyone cooperates, then we will be able to say, oh yes, this is the person that has a relationship with this company. And then you contact them. If we don't, have that information, then you would then send an email to the CSR representatives of Juhu, Mira Road, Kargar, and Chopati, and say, hey, do any of you have a relationship with this particular company? I have this project XYZ and I want to approach them for this. Okay?
One more was
Go ahead. Oh, you also.
It might be a better practice, like for example, in Delhi, east of Kailash is the main temple. I mean, all are temples, but the oldest and whatever. Rishi Kumar Prabhu, you know the language. And in Bombay, say Juhu. Yeah. So now what happens is it's easy then for VC to just access or coordinate with one or two people, rather than he sending 13 emails to a Delhi saying, and then Panjai Bagh
That would
hasn't
be good.
responded, and
That would be good. So we'll try to do that. At least for Delhi, I think we could probably establish who would be
and
the contact person.
there is an incidental penalty. Those centers who do not provide the list of the corporates, and if VC approaches CCC saying, does it feature, and the CCC say no, it doesn't feature, then the VC has the right to go and approach the company because the LC didn't bother to share the data.
We could do that, but we could do that, and then it's that would put some teeth into this request.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that. We could make that a policy. Let's.
I'll
There
just
was-
finish.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There were two small points.
Yeah.
One was a small city, like I live in Mangalore.
Yes.
If I even scratch my head, I don't think there will be more than 3-4 companies which are in CSR. Now somebody is visiting me from Bombay, they have 1,000 companies. So want that my feel, why don't you finish up with your company?
Yes. Well, this is the give and take of this this type of thing. You have, as I said, as the local cultivating person, you have the priority. That's the principle. You have the priority. But it can't be based on just territory. And, you're big and so on. We have to look, we just have to look at the results. If you're not able to utilize the support of a local corporate, why deny that to Mumbai or anyone? So it requires a little bit of that type of broad-mindedness. And if we all act in this way, then one day you will also need to visit Mumbai, and they'll remember.
And they do remember.
If I'm allowed,
Yes.
last thing which I can foresee, because which I see in colleges happens when two centers come,
Yes.
it ends up in unhealthy competition. How it will end? Because I will say they talk their project. I know you don't know the fact they're not doing anything, and they say the similar thing for me.
Well, you have only, when you have competition, the risk of unhealthy competition always is there. So one way is just to be less competitive and more cooperative, and not look at it as we're competing for this. And in fact, the principles that we have in place here are supposed to avoid competing and promote cooperation. So let's try.
There are 3 C's in this CCC which you may attempt as a thinking pattern: consolidate, cooperate, and conquer, and collect.
All right, we have some questions up here.
Yes.
We do, let's see.
We'll have to extend it till 2, Prabhu. Project planning is pending.
Yes, well, we could also start that in the afternoon too. So we might just let this go and yeah.
Prabhuji, I have a simple idea because here it is clashes of interest, right?
Possibly.
So when there is a possibility of such way, can't we have a mechanism of sharing of the funds? Saying, okay, I'm coming into your territory, I'm giving you 20% of the commission.
All right.
So
okay.
you
this
be
is-
happy,
Yeah. No,
I'll be
all
happy.
right. Here's
Let's-
something we haven't talked about. There is an opportunity here for centers to collaborate on a project and to come to some internal agreement, some internal understanding that, all right, we're going to do a values education project in the NCR, Punjab, in the geographical region of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, and NCR, this circle. Make in a 200-mile radius. We're going to do this. This is our target, etc. And then all the centers they figure out. You'd have to do this some internal process, whereby everyone benefits by pooling this together and approaching a corporate. The second thing